Hello there, lovely. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Lunchtime Cafe right here on Camnet TV. My name is Joe Smarter, and of course, you are watching us live on DSTV as well as GoTV, including our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV Zambia. Like the page, follow it, and do make sure to leave us a comment as we delve into the nitty-gritties of our discussion this particular afternoon. Please brace yourselves, it's about to get interesting. Now, my guest on this particular interview is the Chilubi Member of Parliament, Honorable Mlenga Fowe, who joins me to discuss national matters. Honorable, good to see you and welcome.
Thank you so much, and I think I would like to say good afternoon to the viewers who actually found time to listen from this particular piece.
Okay. Honorable, it's good to have you here, and Parliament is on recess. However, talking about the National Assembly, we have seen a number of suspensions in the House. You belong in the House. What is really happening in the House? What is necessitating these suspensions, Honorable?
I think from where I stand, it's not that the members who have been suspended have become more indisciplined.
Okay.
It's intolerance. Because once we go to Parliament, we are oriented using the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, the Constitution, among other documents, as well as the Standing Order Act, the Standing Order book. And we have been using the 2021 Standing Order book. And I think there's been an attempt to revise. Well, the problem I've seen is that at our Parliament, the chairs, the speakers are infallible. They cannot make a mistake.
Okay.
Yes, it's only the members that can make a mistake.
Okay.
Because many of the suspensions that have happened at Parliament, I have saved, as I stand, under this particular session, I have saved so far 60 days. And if you look at all those 60 days that I've saved, one of it, we were suspended because we were protesting against a constitutional breach during during the budget presentation. Okay. Again, the other suspension that I found myself in is where we are also protesting against another constitutional breach, where Article 74 was abused right in our presence, using, of course, arrogance of numbers.
Okay.
Article 74, that's the one which talks about the leader of the opposition. Some foreigner wrote a letter to Parliament, and it disturbed the whole sitting. And I think I remember that other time is Honorable Kangombe stood up. There are two members who stood before Honorable Kangombe to do a matter of public urgency. And then Honorable Kangombe stood. And then when he stood, the speaker just refused that this cannot go on. In terms of debate, the speaker could not listen to him. And that's where we had this confusion in Parliament. And I think I happened to be one of those that was identified with that confusion. Okay. So, what am I trying to score here? Is that there is need for the public to study what is going on in their own house. That is not my house. It's the public. I want to represent the public. Because I've seen some of these praise singers, they think that we are the only politicians who are going to exist. And this will be the end. No, there is a future after us. And I think if there is a future after us, there is need that we create a culture that is associated with democratic tenets, a culture that is associated with tolerance, the culture that is also associated with coexistence. Currently, the values that I've mentioned are amiss. They are not there. And I think looking at that, we are at crossroads. Because we are just 167. That is the 8 nominated members and 156 elected by you Zambians, and then the speaker and the deputy speaker, who represent the interests of 20 million plus Zambians. Okay. And if that be the case, it is important that we create an environment where the different voices of Zambians can be heard. Okay. You cannot afford to just listen from one side of the coin, because Zambia is a multi-party arrangement. And if it's a multi-party arrangement, it means that it has taken on board plural thought. And plural thought means that we cannot just agree on one idea and the like, and it goes. And I think the use of arrogance of numbers is a phenomenon that has been there, especially by different ruling parties, but unfortunately it does not stay. And it does not, the things that we do will follow us thereafter. And I think it's important that those that are entrusted with the people's power should think twice and think that there's nothing permanent under the sun. And if there's nothing permanent under the sun, we will see that at some point posterity has to find us at some station. And if posterity has to find us at some station, we need to reflect and be responsible enough to do that which is right.
Okay. Yes. Now, Honorable, still in the People's House, the National Assembly, the judgments that have been passed towards you as a member of parliament and other members of parliament, from your own opinion, let's call a spade a spade. Have these judgments been fair?
No, they're not. They're not, because I am not saying this because I've been affected in one or the other. I've also been a complainant.
Okay.
I can tell you that I've complained so far. The letters that I can count that I've sent to Parliament are now 5.
Okay.
I've not been heard. You see? So if I've not been heard on those letters, we have seen the same nature of letters that come from other people towards the opposition. They are tended to. We have seen rulings coming, and the rulings attend to a situation where
the letters that come from the right.
Yes.
From
the letters that come from the right
are
always taken seriously. We have seen that even rulings are amounting to suspensions. And even where a case is just supposed to attract 7 days and things, you find that it attracts 30 days. Actually, it's just that there is a limitation of 30 days. If there was something more, even in 1 year, some of us would have been suspended for a year. And I think that's a toxic environment.
Okay.
And it's not about FUME. It's not about PF. It's not about Amdudu's party. It's not about independence. It's about the country. And I think people have to wake up.
Okay.
What is happening in our nation has never happened before. That is just a, and I think it maybe see it also follows this thing of the first time. For the first time, the phrase that has been popularized by now, where people are saying, no, for the first time we have scored say the issue of free education. No, for the first time we have brought this, but for the first time Parliament has become toxic. Yes, that's for the first time.
Are the people of Zambia safe? Because that's their house, Honorable.
No, the people of Zambia are not safe. And I think I did explain. If you read Article 60, Article 61, 62, and 63, it is clearly states that's the people's house.
Okay.
It's not me, I'm just a representative, a representative of democracy. And I think if it's the people's house, there is need that me, myself, if there's behavior that attracts, and genuinely so, that attracts my suspension, yes, I should be suspended because it's in the people's house.
Okay.
And I think there is need to follow order. But where order becomes just to save one group, it becomes a problem. Where the other group can manage to misbehave and even insult people in Parliament, and when you complain, nothing happens.
So such incidences are
yes, they are there. They are there.
Okay.
And there are incidences that I, for one, have put on record. Such incidences are there. Except that, you see, I cannot start mentioning names here. And people are not here to defend themselves.
True.
But I am just generally talking about the affairs of Parliament, which I feel, as far as I belong there, are not being conducted nicely.
Okay.
And I think there is need that we start attending to such issues.
Okay.
Yes.
Honorable, let me draw your attention to an incident that happened in Parliament where a member of Parliament, a female member of Parliament, uttered or issued some utterances towards the Republican president, and she was suspended. You are aware of what was uttered, you are there in Parliament, and obviously the punishment that was meted on her. Let me find out from you, Honorable, how do you make of that whole situation?
Well, I would say, without blinking, that there is need. That there is a privileges committee.
Okay.
That is supposed to hear that one. But I think it's a case that was already decided without being, before it was even heard. We heard Honorable Garin Komo talking about she will not go unpunished.
Was that a fair statement?
It wasn't fair because it was putting pressure on Parliament and coming from the executive. And Honorable Nkombo is quite senior. So if he says that, and we know how we come up with leaders in Parliament, and I think that all the speakers we have are dominated from the ruling party. That is not even a secret. And I think, humanly speaking, there may be that biasness of how you arrive at such, because it's about serving the interests of those that you feel have done you a favor in terms of giving you a job. You have seen how the second deputy speaker conducts himself. Where on earth can that be in the Commonwealth? Where on earth can that be in the Commonwealth?
Okay.
You see? So when you look at such, and it's, me, what I expect from my orientation at Parliament, I expect that Parliament should also have to call out such people and sit them down.
Okay.
Of why is it that just in this session, that's where Kafafwa is attracted. I know that Kafafwa is a corrupt word. Is it from Kafofo? I don't know if it's Kofofo. I don't know whatever you call it, you English people. Now, when you look at such a scenario, when you see that a presiding officer, a particular presiding officer, is attracting more cases, that at the end of the day, because of his protection and there is a chair and the Parliament is what it is now, is not looked at, and instead those that are seen as offending the chair are the ones who get punished. For instance, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
When we were debating on the issue of the presidential speech, I stood up, I was debating, and before I even went forward, somebody passed a very bad comment
Towards you.
towards me. And there was also echo from the right, from the UPND members, and they started and then I was looking forward to the chair to protect me, because that's
While you were on the floor.
While I was on the floor, I was given the chance.
Okay.
Then I was told, I could see that if I do not intervene on my own, I think I needed to protect myself.
Okay.
Since I was not protected, it was taken as normal to be tormented like that. So I directed the words. I said, shut up, towards the person that was, speaking on top of his voice, disturbing my debate, which I thought was important. But instead, I am the one, instead of just telling me, according to standing orders, I was supposed to just be advised to say, can you please withdraw the word shut up, it's unparliamentary. I was told to sit down like a schoolboy, and the speaker called another person to debate.
Who was the presiding officer?
Well, it was the second deputy speaker.
Okay.
So, I was injured. I'm a human being. I got injured because that does not agree with the rules that manage Parliament.
Okay.
It does not agree with the rules that manage the way we debate.
Okay.
So, when that happened, I had an opportunity to go on it again, where I had to again ask, indicate, to debate, because as far as I was concerned, as far as people of Chulu sent me, I did not debate the presidential speech.
No.
And there are a lot of things to debate there. I was supposed to talk about the Tobacco Act, putting in place the Tobacco Act in line with the substance abuse, so that we have the tobacco control. And those are the things that I lined up. And I think to me, and from where I stand,
So you never completed.
they would have benefited the nation. No, I indicated on a different day.
Okay.
That's when I stood. I wouldn't lie. The deputy second speaker gave me time to debate. But the people from the office of the crack started influencing him that this man has already debated
Okay.
on the same item. And I was told midway that I should not continue to debate because I've already debated. I think if you saw my reaction was not so good because I thought that now we are going too far. You see, we are human beings.
Why is this?
Because sometimes when we react in a particular manner, even you, the media, you rush to blame us. You don't know that we carry the burden. We are sent there by people who want to see that the issues they have given us. Before I came in that session, I was in Chirubi. And I picked a lot of issues. Some of them I put them in form of questions. And I think the Chirubi people gave me a particular compass of how far I should go on certain issues and how I should debate. And I know, I understand Chirubi. I should know that when the president has given a particular, picture on what the country is, there is alcoholism in my place. There is substance abuse in my place. And there are a lot of things that have to do with the morality and ethics in my place.
Okay.
So I needed to make sure that I take the voice of Chirubi so that the president can take note, because I know that as far as he is, I know he's part of parliament, though he's not part of National Assembly.
Okay.
You know, those are two different things. When he's in, it's the parliament. Now, when I chose to take the route that I took, I got frustrated. And I think I reacted, if you saw. I said, no, this cannot go. And I left parliament immediately. And I have no regrets to having left parliament immediately. Because I mean, what was I going to stay there for? To be frustrated by a chair when I'm supposed to debate for people of Chirubi? You see? So, those are some of the things that you people who are in the public domain should take seriously interest in.
Okay.
Because sometimes I've seen when a member is suspended, there are these, press singers who don't even understand the parliamentary standing orders. They rush to, no, this one is too much. This and that. You are killing your own nation. There's a nation to protect above all of us individuals. You see? So there must be some values that we need to protect, and these values are already stipulated in the Constitution. If you read the Article 8, you find that there is constitutionalism there, there is integrity, there is dignity, there is morality and ethics, and there are a lot of things. There are issues of good governance. But the question will be asked that is what is happening in good governance? The answer is a big no. So if we want the values that are embedded in Article 8 to be our compass, it should apply everywhere. It should apply in the judiciary, it should apply in the executive, it should also apply in the legislature, which are the three arms of government. And then we, the citizenry, should live by those values. And I think if we, the leaders, are the ones who are actually assaulting those values in public domain, and I think with impunity, then it means that we are not sending a good signal to those that may be counting on us.
Okay.
Yes.
And finally, on this particular matter of the People's House, the National Assembly, Honorable, let me throw in this particular question. Where is this culture of discontent amongst members of parliament coming from within the House? Where is this culture coming from?
Well, I think, of course, people would debate to say, this culture was always there. No, come on. I was part of the last parliament, at least for 1 hour, for 1 year, 5 months.
Okay.
I remember when I was voted in through the by-election in Chirubi, I went in parliament. Speaker Mativini, when I was debating on, I think I mentioned like UPND members and the like, I was still an amateur.
First time in parliament.
So I could make such mistakes. And he cautioned me to say, honorable member, can you please sit down? And I sat down. And then he started cancelling me. Here where you have come is not about you talking about UPND and the like. You need to represent your people. And all that. And that is how a speaker does. Not where you are rebuked and you are even assaulted emotionally and psychologically like you're a child. I think that is not what it should be. Like the way we have been treated this time around. We are there because we are voted for. We didn't take ourselves there. And there are people behind us whom we represent. And I think anyone who has been given that opportunity to share such a meeting, whether it's on the budget, whether it's on an act, whether it's just debate generally on a different motion, they should bear in mind that I'm dealing with people who have been sent by the Zambians,
Okay.
who should hear their voice and their concerns. I think that would be a good, fair, and fair play. Because I think even natural justice, we have seen that we have seen people becoming judges in their own case in Parliament. We have also seen on another side where members have not been given time, opportunity to be heard, like the last suspension that I faced with the 15 others. We were not given the opportunity to be heard. We were just suspended because there was a conclusion. And this issue of concluding without even subjecting us to the Privileges Act, to the Privileges Committee, is where we are saying something is amiss and something is wrong.
So the House is not following its own rules.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes.
Honorable, on this particular matter that has to do with parliamentarians, two members of parliament have been quoted in one of the daily tabloids, which is the Daily Nation, a Zambian daily tabloid. And this particular headline reads, Mao Samba is expelled, Kasandwe and Melesiana Piri tell Concord.
Yes.
Do you agree, Honorable?
That's the right position. The problem is that we have compromised the constitutional order in this nation.
Okay.
So what is the, without sounding contemptuous or anything, the fact of the matter is, we need to know what came first.
Okay.
When Mao's had that meeting, which I can't refer to as...
At Mulungushi?
Yes, where he was protected by the state and all that, and when the state sent him, no, let me not say the state, when UPND sent him, because there's a difference between the state and the and UPND.
Okay.
When UPND sent him to have that conference, we had a situation where he was protected heavily by the state functionary called the police. First he said it's a retreat, thereafter turned, even the people that attended were hoodwinked into believing it's just a meeting of some sort.
Okay.
And in any case, there are a lot of things that are wrong about that thing. Quorum, the people that were called are not even PF and all that. And then, after the PF party, which is the original PF party anyway,
okay,
whose president is Edgar Chogalungu and the Secretary General is Lafona Kachenda.
Okay.
Said no, but what has happened? This is indiscipline. They expelled him. And Charinga was also suspended because he was in attendance.
Okay.
But what we saw thereafter is legitimizing an illegality. And I'm not afraid if it means facing anything. It's legitimizing an illegality where fingerprints were lifted in the night, taken to registrar of society and taken to police. Overnight, things happened.
So everything was done within 24 hours?
Yes. And I'm not saying this without evidence. I can provide evidence if I'm going to do so. Okay. So when such happened, we were all shocked about how UPND got involved, especially the Republican president, because such cannot happen without the Republican president is blessing. And we saw one event after the other, when the expulsion of Maos came to Parliament, and the speaker ruled that she had to give a ruling and referred to how the Speaker Mativini ruled on Kambwiri's case, Honorable Kambwiri's case, and she said that from this particular case, it is given therein that the Speaker cannot interpret the Constitution. And by the way, if you read Article 72, you find that even what is happening is not normal, where members have just said we have stopped paying, and then some Caponia lashes to the media to say that they are expelled. You see, that kind of behavior, at some point here in Zambia, not anywhere else, will be very costly. Because abusing the constitution like that abusing the constitution like that. You see, you and me, our meeting point, our common denominator is the constitution, is the law. That's what brings us together. Because it's in the same constitution that we are a unitary state. And it's in the same constitution that you and me should follow the order of morality and other things. The moment the constitution is in some way suspended by practice, by how we act on the letters and the spirit of the constitution, that becomes a problem. That becomes a big, big problem. Now, because, for instance, I was shocked that some Caponia somewhere can understand where the member says, no, we are not going to be contributing, and then says that automatically they have been expelled, and quoted the constitution. I think it's out of that. That day, you see, chronologically, when the members say Mao's was expelled, you need to ask what came first. What came first is the expulsion of Mao's.
Okay. And
it's in public domain. And I think the judiciary can take judicial notice that Mao's was expelled when he made that particular 24th, 24th October meeting. The purported expulsion of Kasandwe and Merciara came very late in the night by a lone person who doesn't even fit in. And under normal circumstances, even in Cap 119 of our laws of Zambia, which is society's what? In normal circumstances, Mao can't be called the president. That's just a fact. It's just the truth.
But why has this continued, Donald?
Well, it's you, the media, who are calling him the president. It's the situation that the president, the Republican president, who sworn according to Article 90, 91, and 92 to protect the Constitution was allowed. You saw how he received Chawinga in Kasama. He even said, the leader of the opposition, thank you so much, and you should be encouraged. You need to be strong.
Who is the right leader of the opposition? Help us as the media.
The right leader.
Who is the leader of the opposition?
The right leader of the opposition is Honorable Mundubiri. And if you ask me, how? It's the way we arrive at who to become the leader of the opposition.
Let's see.
Article 74 of the Constitution says that an opposition political party will choose a leader of the opposition among themselves. Actually, it uses the word elect among themselves. And that's how a leader of the opposition starts. When did we elect Honorable Chawinga?
How is the current one elected?
Which current one?
How was he appointed to that position?
You should ask him, I don't know if it's Mr. Ngona.
Okay.
You should ask Mr. Ngona and the speaker. They are the ones who understand better. I can't understand that question.
Okay.
Because it's the speaker that has made the situation to be that way. Yes. So they can be in a position to understand.
Okay.
I want to understand what is lawful.
Okay.
What is unlawful, I have problems to understand it.
Okay.
Yes.
Honorable, we move on. You are coming from a constituency known as Chulubi, and obviously the economic situation in Zambia, whatever happens, also affects Chulubi as a constituency. Now, let me draw attention to the issue that is in public domain, that the Energy Regulation Board is scheduled to increase ZESCO tariffs at 9%, coupled with the current load shedding schedule. Honorable, the people of Chulubi are watching. They want to listen from you.
To start with, I have been fighting through and through. Chulubi does not, even before you guys get the load shedding, the current load shedding, Chulubi doesn't have electricity, in short.
It's not connected to the...
No, it is connected, but the supply is very poor.
Okay.
Even before this national road shedding was introduced, Chulubi was already encountering road shedding. So now, the natural road shedding, which has been caused by being on the tail end, where we have been having a disruption in terms of electricity supply, then plus the road shedding that has been introduced through the schedule, you can imagine what is happening in Chulubi. Chulubi, there are a lot of government workers that own machines that depend on electricity, like fridges, you know, stoves, and many other factors. And that is meant to, they bought to make their life easier. Apart from that, Chilobi also learns some economic activities around the electricity. And it depends on that particular energy source. In this case, people who are running shops, people are running saloons, people are running small butcheries, and many other factors.
Okay.
We also want to be part of the country in terms of enjoying some of these privileges that Zambians enjoy. Okay. And I think if you look at statistics on electricity, you find that the rural population generally in Zambia, rural connectivity is below 80%. That is why RIA is coming in, and I think my district is also a beneficiary in terms of benefiting from RIA, especially that the 2022 budget doubled, the 2023 budget doubled the amount towards RIA.
Okay.
Which I think, if you look at my debate in Parliament, I even acknowledged, and I think I appreciated that particular gesture.
Okay.
But by and large, some of now for us to even benefit from to get the benefit from the RIA, it means that the marine cables that currently supply us to the bomber, and then it's just on the island. That's where we have electricity, by the way. And others, we are trying to see how we can secure.
And the mainland? The
mainland doesn't have electricity, the swamps doesn't have electricity.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we look at such, even on the island, I'll be unfair to say that is electricity.
Okay.
I'll be very, very unfair to say that people are enjoying that electricity. I'll be very unfair. I am a representative, and I should say the truth. What has been happening in Chirubi is not a normal situation.
Okay.
It's not something that we can be pleased and say, no, we have Amaraiti and we are enjoying Amaraiti. Okay. Yes, in as far as we are making efforts to connect, you know, Kanchindi and many other works to national grid, you know, which is accessed through the marine cables. Ever since the marine cables were put, we have been having problems because of the maintenance issues, where we have had the situation where to maintain the poles, some of the poles have been falling off and the like. But I think what I suspect is that just all the places that are on the tail end have a problem, because I've stayed in Kaputa before.
Okay.
That electricity coming through Mununga and all that, and then Kaputa happens to be a tail end. It also has problems, such that when you see one pole has fallen, it affects you in such a bad manner that you cannot even imagine. No. But coming back to Chirobi, the electricity tariff increment, actually such areas are supposed to even have, we need to package these tariffs in a manner that the rural pays less. The urban, of course, because of the use and the like and the competition, social and economic competition, they can pay more.
Okay.
Now, but for the rural, because of we are trying to penetrate such areas in terms of creating both primary industry as well as the secondary industry, there is need that electricity in some way becomes an incentive to the rural area. Because how you grow the rural area is to make sure that you supply some small-scale industry, and this small-scale industry can only come in as a result of availability of energy.
Okay.
Availability of energy means that we should either have solar, we can have hydro, we can have, you know, fuel-driven, and many other. But when you look at that, what complicates the matter is that when we look at the tariffs, and optionally, we say people can use diesel-powered or petrol-powered generators to have access to electricity. When you look at the price of diesel and the price of petrol, it's prohibitive currently. Looking at the disposable income that people are having, it's very prohibitive. In Chirubi, it's even worse, because we do not have a filling station there. And you see, we don't have a filling station, it makes it even worse, because we usually access, you know, fuel through the black market. Whereas you will be talking about 30 kwacha, you know, and 34 kwacha, I don't know if it's 31 kwacha, and the other one, the lower quartile being 28 quarter plus.
Okay.
The upper quartile being 31 quarter for petrol. In Chilubi, it will sell between 40 to 45 per liter.
40 to 45?
Yes, per liter. I'm not exaggerating. Depending on where you are. You see?
Wow.
The minimum would be 40. Maybe 45 per liter.
Now,
because, and you don't look, you may not laugh at people who sell fuel that much. You need to also think, how much what do they go through for just them to bring fuel at a station where they are selling? They go through a lot.
Okay.
They have to get it either through Luchenenganga, which is now having problems in terms of engine. It's been overused because we don't have a cargo boat to look at. Because the other post boat is not something that you can count on, and the reliability is not there. We only have Luchenenganga, which is meant to be a passenger boat, and it's overworked. It has never been serviced ever since it came to Chilobi. Those are issues that we need to tackle. Then even in the other route where they bring in fuel, the other route through the Ruingu Chawa road, it's also prohibitive. The road there is very bad. It's very bad. The time PF was there, we secured, and we are supposed to have compacted the good gravel, not tarred the road. I'll cheat.
Okay.
What was budgeted for is a compacted gravel. But that contract was cut. Recently, we had made efforts from Luena to Chawa there to patch up using a CDF, and I think we had to contribute with the Lubansenshi constituents and RDA, and thanks to Honorable Murupi, came in very handy to help out that patch. But the other patch is still destroyed. And I think we need to see how the road network has the impetus to development in general.
Okay.
So we need to know that without a road network, the road network has a spillover effect on a lot of things. I know that before I talked about the road network, I was talking about fuel. But for fuel to come there, it uses a road.
The road network.
And I think those that pick the fuel from either Luingo or Kasama, any other point, or Mansa the other side, they go through a lot. And they take a risk. Now, and these are business people who want to have a bit of a profit in a liberalized economy like ours. So you cannot regulate them.
So, Honorable, having said that, how does this sit with you that the Energy Regulation Board, ERB, has been quoted in one of the daily tabloids, and I'm talking about the News Diggers, having said that, and I quote, we may approve 9% ZESCO tariffs increase this year, ERB.
Well, even before they go in public like that, I have noticed that tariffs have in some way increased secretly. Because the same money that you, for instance, if you take a 200 kwacha, you want to buy the same units in the same period. Because I know that some people may bring in the argument of period. For instance, if you are starting a month, the same money that a 200 kwacha would buy, the units are now different. Before they even talk about that 9 kwacha. I think if there are a lot of Zambians who have observed, like I have observed, can agree with me. So any increment in an economic environment like ours goes to kill the people. One, there's no money in circulation. Two, the price index of essential commodities is something that you brings headache to the Zambians. There are a lot of things that are wrong currently. The environment is highly toxic in terms of survival, and I think any other increment comes in to suppress. And I know that ZESCO is running like a business. And again, we cannot talk about them, just saying that they should just be running like it's a charity of some sort.
Is this increment, the proposed increment, is it necessary right now?
It's not. Why it's not is that we need to look at the social economic effect it's going to bear on the people. You see, the 9% may sound so small. There are domestic arrangements. There is also industrial arrangement and the like. And at the end of the day, it affects production. Because soap, cooking oil, many other things that you and me consume, including Miu Miu, are produced through using what? Electricity. There are few people that are in the industry, the captains of industry who are using, fuel-propelled machinery. But many of them are using electricity. And I think before we think about any increment, we should think industry. And if we think industry, we should think production. If we think production, we should think products. If we think products, we should think the price of production.
Okay.
And the price, the shelf price, of which the commodity is supposed to arrive at. Okay. So if we think that way, it will help us whether what we are doing is right or it's wrong.
Okay. Yeah. Now, Honorable, this brings me to the recent development that took place of the country having to reach a debt restructuring agreement with its bondholders. Now, it is in public domain that the government of the Republic of Zambia has been given some time to grow the economy. Now, my question to you as a lawmaker is it possible to grow the economy amid this load shedding, amidst the high cost of living, the high cost of doing business, and also the instability of the kwacha? Is it possible to grow the economy and subsequently pay the money that we need to pay to
about the creditors? About the debt. The problem, the only commodity, the only value that is lacking in Zambia is honesty.
Okay.
We lack honesty.
Leaders, you leaders lack honesty.
Yes, we are not truthful.
Okay.
I may not generalize, but I mean, I'll background it. Okay. Now, when we look at what I'm talking about, it's a scenario of, yes, the PF left 12.8, and anyone can argue that's the external debt. Okay. $12.8 billion. And I think this money, when they borrowed, where it went, it can show.
Okay.
And I think if you allowed me on this program, I can demonstrate countrywide.
Please,
on the projects that this debt was spent on.
Please, Honor.
It was spent on the road network. It was spent on building clinics and hospitals. It was also spent on building, deep tanks. It was spent on different issues that are too many to mention.
Okay.
Just general infrastructure. Because the PF's manifesto of 2011, 2011-2021 was 2011 to 2015 to 2016 was more on infrastructure, and it followed 2016 to 2021. It was also in structure and building on what the 2021 to 2026 is the one which talks about now taking the benefits to the people.
Okay.
But the 2011 2016 manifesto was more based on the infrastructure. Okay. And I think the PF followed it to the latter. I know people may argue, no, the Ndola Lusaka road was not done. Yes, it was not done, and all that efforts were made. No. But I think township roads and other roads, even in networking, for instance, in Northern Province, the PF did that road where you connect from Umbala to Nakonde.
Okay. And
the other roads were attended to. You see? So when we look at such scenario, I have in mind the Lusaka, the Luingu Mansa road and many other roads. They may be gravel, but they were attended to. Okay. And I think we left with a very big portion. We are talking about the Mount Kalabo roads. We are talking about Kazungura bridges and many other factors. The bottom road and many other factors. We are talking about airports, sir. Zambia, in terms of tourism, had very bad infrastructure, but the PF had left a good airports. Though some of them have been called social airports now, but I think they are airports. You go to Copper Belt, it's an international airport standard. You go to Livingston, it's an international airport standard. You go to Kenneth Kaunda, it's an international airport standard.
Why do you think they're being called sausage airports?
I don't know. The people who call them sausage airports can know how a sausage looks like and how an airport is associated with a sausage. Now, looking at such, what I'm trying to say is that they borrowed that much. There is also internal debt. The internal debt also is mainly to do with construction, which is mainly the government or those that are in construction industry, the contractors per se, which is almost rushing to the same amount like the external debt. But on top of that, as we talk about debt, we should also know that this government has also borrowed the 6.2 billion. You see? So if they have borrowed the 6.2 billion, though they are calling it concessional loans, it's borrowing we want to. Those that will be there would still pay.
So and
I think you will see. I am trying to talk about this because of the environment in which this borrowing has been overblown out of proportion.
Okay.
Yes. When this government has borrowed, when I say this government, I also belong to the same government.
You also belong to it.
They brought the borrowing plans, which I approved too.
In Parliament?
Yes. So, if this government has borrowed the money, and then they want to emphasize about the money that was borrowed, if you go on the website of Ministry of Finance, you find that the debt is almost 32 billion and up there. What has caused that is not necessarily the PF. It's also them. 32 billion? Yes, that have borrowed, in combined,
Okay.
Yes, you find that it's almost there. And it's not because of the PF. It's just because they are also borrowing. So you see that what has been pushing us into borrowing, one of the reasons that I feel has been pushing us into borrowing is because we are not serious about our mineral potential. Look at what we get from the mineral potential. Partly, if you get 3% mineral royalty, like we have been giving away incentives, where we have been losing closer to 3 billion kwacha every year. 3 billion kwacha is lost through the mining because we are giving away. And then we want to go and stifle talk time when we have given the people. Because if you look at the mining sector from 1919, and I've not made a mistake, from 1919, when you had all these people, Balaisa Sama BSN with that, German company, the other the British, South African company was managing our minerals through Cicerods. And then there's that German gentleman also was managing the other side. They took over our minerals and they were running before the coming in of Anglo America. But I think Dr. Kaunda ventured into Zambianizing and got them, and they became state. But later on, we had this privatization when MMD just came in to liberalize the economy, where our mines were sold on a song. And I think some of the people that participated are still living. You see? And this is a phenomenon that has come back to KCM and Mopane, where these mines are sold dubiously. They are not going to benefit the people.
Are you suggesting that the sale of the deal, the Mopane deal, are you then suggesting...
If it's the Mopane deal, apart from it being illegal, the deal smells corruption.
Why are you calling it illegal?
Yes, because of the arrangement of this, the coming in of that, But if you look at them, they are the ones who are even going to be printing your ballot papers and the like. How does that
IRH?
How does that happen? Yes. Check.
Bring us up to speed.
What is the kafafa that is going on in ECZ? The kafafa that is going on in ECZ?
There was printing of ballot papers.
Yes, and then cancelled. Who would print? Who would print after the cancelling?
So the contract.
And I think I'm sending this message to opposition political parties in this nation that let us have an eye on ECZ. ECZ is going to assert this nation standing in terms of peace and many other factors because of this conduct. So far you have seen that ECZ has been conducting itself recklessly in the by-elections. In summer they allowed the formation of a polling station at the house. You have seen how they did to Kabushi and Kocha. This is that was interpreting the law Article 52 to be specific.
Okay.
And this is that are taken it upon themselves to bar candidates until they take it to court. By the time they were taken to court, after the rulings and things were manipulated, and we are where we are now because this is that is being learned by cadres, and we are watching. So I have digressed a bit. I have gone to ECZ because it's also painful.
It's still a national matter.
Yes, that we can have such a situation in our nation. It's very painful that we should have such a situation in our nation. Now, coming back to that Mopane thing.
Yes, Honorable.
Before I talk about Mopane, I should talk about KCM.
Okay.
What has come out of KCM? And what do you think would come out of KCM? Where your Minister of Mines said it will take 4 years. They talked about paying the miners. I don't know, ngama 25 yanabale for mazemba ikako na yena. Atipaka mazemba kama 25, paying the contractors, and they see the money that they floated in public. They don't even have it.
Okay.
Yes, Vendetta doesn't have that money. They're busy borrowing and all that. And I need to operationalize KCM. So you are telling me that for the benefits to come, according to Kabuswe's gospel, we will take 4 years.
Why should we take 4 years on earth?
Well, I think go to the copper belt and ask people proper and the like. But I think we also know that copper was coming out through Sensere mine and the like. That one, that's a mine that had an accident there. And who is connected to that mine? Why was it not suspended? Why was this license not withdrawn? If it was any other miner, they would have said let's withdraw the license, because they have not been observing safety of the miners. They have not been observing safety of and human life to be lost like that. And I think recently you will see that 2 days ago, how many miners have you lost again?
There was another accident.
Yes. Have you been having such when mines were running normally? The question is no. So, ovukuta. If tuleuta Zambia, if tuleuta, and I emphasize, we have to mines.
Okay.
Even those that have got dead hands, who want to steal money, who want to do whatever they want to do, let them not take their long fingers in our resources called mines. They should stay away the mines, because those are natural resources. They are natural resources. And in any case, copper, just copper, as a traditional export, has been counting for 71% plus in terms of export. Meaning it's still the backbone of our economy.
So why are we giving our mines, like you suggested?
It's very difficult for me to answer that question.
Okay.
Because why it is difficult is that I'm not involved in giving away the mines. Just like if it was brought in Parliament, it would have been debated. Article 210, like the Mopani one, particularly the Mopani one, which was recently, you see different languages,
Okay.
ZCCM IH. It says in there, it means that once ZCCM has taken over, it becomes national assets. ZCCM IH is under high DC. That is state asset, man. And then you go to transfer. I don't know, I cannot even call it transferring, because they are the only ones who understand the terms under which that Mopani arrangement.
So that deal, honorable, according to you and according to the law, it was supposed to be
to come to Parliament.
Yes, to Parliament.
According to the way I've been oriented by Parliament, that it's supposed to come to Parliament. We authorize
as parliamentarians.
Yes.
Okay.
Using 210, Article 210.
Okay.
And that's when the president was free. The president should realize, and this executive, that they are not as free as they think they are. They are bound by the law. They need to follow the law to do certain things.
Okay.
So that when they are doing some of these things, when we are on the same page, you see, sometimes it's very difficult. Abantu bamwe kwati jealousy. Nga bachita kwakachintukamo tatutashishe fwe bambi. Fwe bambi katwanunsha shati chiri iligo. Ninchiwafia.
Okay.
It's difficult for me to go and praise. For instance, I've actually been into Mati. Young Sama national assets are sure. Now they were transferred. I should be part of those to endorse on their behalf.
As a parliamentarian.
As a parliamentarian. And they are not given that privilege to do that. So where do you leave me? And you want me to praise such a scenario? You want me to say this is good? No, I can't. My conscience does not allow me. My system, my belief system does not allow me. My religious beliefs does not allow me. So I need to do that what is right. I'm a sinner in different areas. And I think I deserve, I look for God's mercy in a way. But when it comes to national matters, away from politics, as a meeting point, we need to be above board and to make sure that what we do today benefits the future. We are not the only ones to live. I'm not going to be the only MP to be in Chilubi. No. There are other young people, some of them even older than me, that may aspire on this position. That may like to champion the needs of Chilubi people.
Okay.
But I think whilst I've been given this privilege to be their representative, I should do it with integrity. I should do it with dignity. And that means following the law.
Okay.
Because integrity, dignity, and all that is found in the values that are embedded in the enshrined in the Constitution. And I think that should be my compass. In any case, I have the Constitution requires me in Article 2 to defend the Constitution itself. So if I smell that something is illegal, it's my duty, even before, without being an MP, to defend the Constitution of the Republic.
Okay.
So if there is some deal that has been done and I know that it's not in tandem with the Constitution, I need to raise my voice.
Okay.
It is as simple as that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honorable, last item on our agenda this particular afternoon, as we urge the callers to come through, we are beginning to wind up, but thank you so much for the feedback on our Facebook page, Camnet TV Zambia. We do appreciate. Thank you so much. But one last item, Honorable, is the development that came through yesterday in the late in the afternoon, when the country learned that Invest Trust has been taken over by the Bank of Zambia. Honorable, I know for a fact you are a lawmaker. How does this make you feel? This is a Zambian indigenous bank that's been taken over by Zambia.
That people have been saying democratic space is shrinking. I also have to introduce in a term, the financial market is shrinking.
Okay.
Yes.
You can repeat that again.
Yes. The financial market is shrinking,
Okay.
especially when it comes to Zambian interest. I think it's suicidal in a way to just have banks that are foreign to be controlling our financial matters. The Bank of Zambia exists, yes, as a regulator to make sure that once a bank is I think what I'm trying to underscore here is that I'm not availed much to the nitty-gritties.
Okay.
That would have led to that, and I'm sure the Bank of Zambia is on solid ground, on terra firma, as you may call it, to get back the bank. But what I'm trying
the
to
word that is being used, Honorable, is insolvency.
yes, if it's insolvent, I mean, the bank is empowered by the law to do, the Bank of Zambia, central bank, is empowered by the law to do that. But what I'm trying to say is that let us wake up and protect Zambian banks in a way or the other.
Okay.
Through investment, and I think through making sure that such insolvency does not happen to a lot of these local, because the only existing local banks are those where government has got a hand, like Natsev, Zanaco. The rest, talk about them. The rest remaining are what? Indo-Zambia, of course, and all that, but the rest that are remaining is a situation where we have
Foreign-owned
banks.
Okay.
Yes, we are not saying that through the window of foreign direct investment, the banks should also not enjoy that particular opportunity. We say they should come in, but I think it's also good trade and good business to have our own local banks to be present in the financial market, so that we can compete favorably, and that encourages also patriotism. We cannot be patriotic according to the Constitution, the way it has stipulated in those values, without having. That's why I think when we talk about the national airline, we talk about our own banks, we talk about buy Zambia, enjoy Zambia, and so forth, buy Zambian product. It is in the same breath that we need to address the question of the financial market. And I think financial market cannot just be left to foreign banks.
No.
That should not be allowed. That we need. We know that we are in a liberalized economy where competition is one of the things that should be encouraged. But in as far as that is a reality, we need to do soul searching so that we at least address and encourage an environment where the local banks can also thrive. And I think several people.
Okay. All right, well, on that score, let me thank you most sincerely for coming through and for representing the people of Chulubi very well.
I'm greatly humbled too, and I think I'm also humbled that some people who chose to listen from this. I know it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, and not because they don't have what to do, but I think it's an interest of saying, let us hear also from this particular voice. I salute them. I know that there may be a lot of comments, some of them not pleasant, some of them good, but I think it's the world we live in. It's about tolerance, it's about coexistence, and I think I appreciate that.
Okay,
Yeah.
So one of the comments comes from Mumba Alfred Karis, who says, good to see you on camera, Honorable Mlenga Fube. Okay, so that's from Mumba coming through. We need to go. We'll leave you with the forgotten stories that took place on this particular day, but maybe it might have been 2021, 2022, or 2023. We remind you and refresh your memory out there, dear viewer. On behalf of the entire production team, my director, Mr. Elijah Chifita, and his assistant, Mr. Amos Lungu, including the entire production team, and on behalf of my guest, Honorable Mlenga Fube, I have been Joe Smarter. Good afternoon, and God bless.
Zambia will be going to the polls to elect leaders at local government, parliamentary, and local government levels. One of the key processes in the electoral cycle is the inspection of the provisional register, which allows voters to verify their details if they are correct or not, to avoid being disappointed during poll day. The process only takes a few minutes, and this journalist took time to undergo the process. This is one of the ECZ centers at the Lusaka Golf Club. The turnout remains poor. If the situation remains like this, one only wonders what will happen on poll day when some people discover their details are missing.
But that my voter's card had initials. It has an M and U. I did not notice that M and U. You see? And there and then I was advised that I need to go and need to get another voter's card. You can imagine, you know, how many people so far have got those errors at their voter's card. So you cannot sometimes notice, because you know you will have a quick look and then you ignore, you know, certain things, features there. If you look at that voter's card, there are certain features. So meaning that if there's an abbreviation, as it was the case with my voter's card, and I don't go and verify, it means that I will be sensitized. I will not vote, because they look at, you know, my NRC and the voter's card, they're not the same, they're different. So in this case, what we are saying here that less than 1 million people. It's a low number, it's a small number.
Mr. Murwani is concerned that people are undermining this important process.
The people that have relocated, they are no longer in Chawama, they are in Mandevo, or they are now in Petaoke, or they are in Kalomo, or Shango, or they are in Mongo. So yes, you may verify there, yes, all your details are correct, but you have moved. You are no longer in that particular area where you registered, where you are going to vote from. So it also gives an opportunity for you to transfer, to say now I'm no longer in Kalomo, I'm now in Gwembe, so that they can also transfer your details to that polling station now where you reside. It becomes very easy. You see, there are also critical errors, mistakes, as it was in the case with me. You know, so all those are supposed to be corrected when you go physically there. You go there physically. People can claim to say, yes, me, I have verified using the phone. But suppose the portrait on your voter's card is there, but on the register it's not there.
You should not be prevented from exercising your fundamental right to vote. Find time to verify your details using the online platform or the physical inspection. Remember, voting is your right. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Those that want to contest for the position of members of the Central Committee should submit their application letters to the President from Monday, 5th April to Thursday, 8th April 2021. In this case, I will receive the letters on behalf of the President. The nomination fees for presidential candidates is 10,000 kwacha and 2,000 kwacha for candidates vying for the position of member of the Central Committee. The conference shall be held virtually and the party shall strictly adhere to the COVID-19 health guidelines as prescribed by the Ministry of Health. Central Committee, in accordance with Article 68 and 69 of the Party Constitution, did approve new standing orders and regulations to facilitate for the holding of the General Conference virtually. 2. Party presidential candidates. I am pleased to announce that the Central Committee of the Patriotic Front has unanimously endorsed President Edgar Chagwalungu as our preferred candidate for the position of party president at the forthcoming General Conference. This is in line with the democratic principles in accordance with Article 52 of the Party Constitution. I wish to note that the decision of the Central Committee does not stop anyone from contesting for the position of party president. Anyone is free to contest. Voter verification. As you may be aware, the Electoral Commission of Zambia has extended the dates for voter verification. We wish to call upon all our members, specifically and all the voters in general, to take this process very seriously.
We'll try to reach all the 10 provinces within the shortest possible period of time. And I know the support base that we have. We've got Copperbelt, we've got Northwestern, and then Northern we should be having it soon. And I'm going to Eastern Province right now, so I should be consolidating my support base as well. Youths were better represented under Honorable Kampiongo, unlike now, because we have a challenge where the Minister of Youth and Sports is failing to coordinate with the National Youth Chairman. So you've got the Minister of Youth giving empowerment to young people without an input from the National Youth Chairman, when these two are supposed to be working hand in hand. So I think Honorable Sampa was not the right man to take us to the promised land. He's done his part, but it's a pity that he didn't do much. Unlike the predecessor, the shoes were too big for Kelvin.
The United Party for National Development National Youth Chairman Gilbert Liswaniso has called on the church to actively participate in the national development agenda. Mr. Liswaniso thanked the church for playing a huge role in ensuring community members understand the need to form cooperatives so as to benefit from the Constituency Development Fund. He says this when he joined the Mongo mayoral candidate Nyambe Moyumbana at Imboa New Apostolic Church in Kanyonyo Ward, Mongo District.
When the church is accepting such a thing, it gives us a hope that we are going somewhere. Meaning the church also, they are spreading the same message, the importance of empowerment. Most of the time we have said, you cannot make money through employment, but you can only make money through skills and entrepreneurship into business. You're going to make money, ensure that you uplift your life. So for us, it has been shown, and to us has been shown that the church is very serious. The church wants to work with the government, and the government's responsibility is to ensure that they respond to the youths in the church. You are aware that...
Meanwhile, Mongo mayoral candidate Nyambe Moyumbana says that the response by community members to empowerment programs by the OPND government is promising.
This is in line with the new Dawn government. President Hakainde Hichilema has been encouraging the people of Zambia, the youths, to form cooperatives. And so this pleases us. God willing, if voted into office, we ensure that we work with these cooperatives. Because the money that has come, part of it is empowerment for women and the youth. So why shouldn't they access it and become an example, for those that still don't believe that empowerment can help people come out of poverty.
The youth chairman has since assured that the UPND party will continue working with the church going forward. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Mungo District.
As government continues implementing pensions reforms consultation on the proposed introduction of pre-retirement partial benefits withdraw under the National Pension Scheme Authority NAPSA have progressed. Sunday, the 3rd of April 2022, the National Union of Public and Private Educators of Zambia, NUPEZ, held a media briefing in Lusaka which saw various issues get discussed, starting from the pension reforms, the Amendments of Retirement Act, among other things. And speaking during the media briefing, NUPEZ Executive President Victor Muyumba disclosed that the union will conduct a countrywide consultation process from its members on what they think should constitute the pension reforms. The union also called on government to amend the National Pension Scheme, Amendment number 7 of 2013, in order to reduce the retirement age.
The fact that partial withdrawal, as has been discussed, is needed is not debatable. We need to have this implemented. But at the same time, our call on government is to ensure that there is a sensitization of the members in terms of entrepreneurial skills. Because if this money is withdrawn and taken to other use other than investment, then we are going to have high levels of poverty. We need to have a certain mindset and attitude, even as we advocate for the partial withdrawals.
Mr. Muyumba also called on government to come up with a statutory instrument, SI, that will introduce a mandatory industrial break for the last 3 weeks of every year, a move he claims will help enable workers to get used to what they want to engage in after retirement. Meanwhile, the union has given government an ultimatum to vacate all those who retired and got paid their full retirement packages but are still occupying government houses.
We have a number of members that have complained, they have come through to complain to the union that they remain unaccommodated, and yet the institutional houses that are there have continued being occupied by people that have been paid in full in terms of retirement packages. So we give government up to the beginning of next term to ensure that these retirees vacate the houses. If this is not done, we are going to ask our members that don't have housing units in those areas where retirees are occupying houses to wait until accommodation is made available. Because we can't continue with this trend. It is creating a wrong attitude altogether. And everybody now will be saying, even when I retire, I can stay in an institutional house. This is encouraging laziness.
Meanwhile, Federation of Free Trade Union of Zambia National Women's Chairperson Charity Tembo says the partial withdrawal of one's retirement package is a progressive move that will help especially the women folk have the financial capacity to do something constructive.
With this, since it will be partial, meaning there will be that gradual or withdrawal, today you withdraw so much, you use it maybe to acquire some land, you start preparing up to the last day. So this actually will reduce poverty, and of course sending us to early graves, because once you deplete everything that you got as in your lump sum and you don't use it or spend it to the well-intended purpose, I'm telling you that is death.
President Hakainde Hichilema promised to ensure that pensioners do not have to wait until retirement before they can start benefiting from their pension contributions. The now governing party also pledged to see to it that NAPSA contributors are given the choice periodically access their pension on a percentage basis in real time and ahead of retirement. The option of the partial withdrawal of pension contribution is for specific purpose, including investment in business, among other things. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.